Guys, it's Lego Hobo 910 here with another Lego video, and this is either the first and last full Elemental Castle video, or the first of 2 or 3. And I have a few things that I need to do, and also I've actually moved them over into my recording studio, as you can see, because over on the building area there really isn't enough room to work on all 4 of them together, and the recording studio has a bit more room. So I've moved them over here, and still really tight, and I have to kind of hold the camera awkwardly because, as you can see, there isn't really enough space on the table to set it and see everything nicely. But there's only a few things I need to do to finish these. I need to build the Titan for each of the castles. I also need to terrain them and mesh them together. As you can see, I've been doing a bit on the water castle, but I kind of need to in order to contain the water. And then I need to also build the minifigures for all 4 of them, and I have a basic idea of what I want the minifigs for each to look like, except obviously I haven't solidified them, and also I need to put in all the animals and other such stuff and just do finishing work. So right now I'm going to work on terraining and blending it together. These, I realized I had a bit of an issue. These paths don't quite line up, but I can work that out. And then over here, the terrain didn't quite line up, so I had to take out a bunch of the water and rebuild it and redo it. And so that was a bit of a hassle, and I still haven't even connected the fire castle to its 2 connection points, but I think these paths will line up a bit better. I'll still have to curve it a bit, but it'll hopefully line up more. And then over there, I still have yet to complete on like the barrier for the river of lava because I knew I had to connect it there. So now I'm going to finish connecting the terrain. Finished blending the terrain. As you can see, that's about as much as it was last time. Also blended that in nicely there and connected those paths. I think back there looks exceptionally good as well. And also I really like the way the center turned out. Originally it looked kind of funny. Then I decided to have one of these boulders that's going to be being thrown by the stone titan. Wanted one right there. And then also I modified the ruins a bit to make it look like one of these stones hit the ruins and kind of smashed and destroyed them, which I think looks pretty cool. I also really like the way that these paths blend. I was thinking that was going to be really hard, but I think it looked pretty cool and actually turned out really nice. So now I think I'm going to start working on the titans, which are going to be made basically out of Bionicle parts, mostly, except there's going to be little bits and bobs here and there, but it's going to be 90% made out of Bionicle parts. And the one for the fire one's going to be like back there, and it's going to look kind of like the Balrog. The air one, I want to make it look like it's flying somehow, because I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. Then the water one, I only need to build half. It's going to be bursting out of the water here. Then, as I said, the Titan for the stone is going to be up there. So now I'm going to start building the Titans. Last clip was from December 21st. It is now January 6th. So as you can tell, it's been a while since I've worked on this. Though I did dry out all the Bionicle parts to start working on the Titans. So far, I've only made a bit of progress on the fire one here. So far, I think he looks pretty cool. Kind of like that idea of having the core with the claws going over it. And yeah, I'm gonna keep building him up. And then also, so far I've chosen what faceplate I want to use for the water one, because I think that looks pretty. And for the stone, I kind of want to use a tan one to match that whole desert theme. But I also want to use one of the various black ones that I have laying around here. Yeah, like one of those to fit kind of the stone theme. The air one, I really have no clue what I'm going to do. That one's going to be the hardest to do. I kind of want to steal the sails from my Ninjago Destiny's Bounty from, like, the original one, because I think those would make cool wings. But they also don't match the color palette, so I don't know. I think the air one's probably the one I'm going to build last. But right now I think I'm going to finish the fire one before I do any further work on any of the other. So I've modified the torso slightly to have all 4 of those claws kind of crossing like that, which I really think looks cool. That's my favorite part of it. And then I've come up with a concept and started working on the 2 arms. This left arm of his is going to be kind of mechanical and armored and metallic, and it's going to end in that silver claw. And then this arm is going to be kind of the flaming red one. And on top there I have those spikes. And I like those, but I also have a bunch of other options, including that silver one, that red one, those orange ones. I think the orange ones might be too big and not really fit. But I could also just fit in normal minifigure spikes. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to do that. And yes, I am aware that the top section of this arm is longer than the top section of that one. But I kind of like it that way. I also, for the bottom one, I've had to attach it on with this ball, because this one doesn't have a built-in ball, whereas that one does, which slightly raises this up. So I might move this section to the top. So that way, you know, the kind of higher armor pieces on the top, which I think will look better and more aesthetically pleasing. So yeah, I'm just going to keep working on this fire one, because I really like it, and I'm liking all the progress I'm making, and I'm feeling the creativity for this one, and I might not start the other 3 Titans for quite a while. basically 20 minutes to half an hour on this arm. As you can see, I haven't done anything with the other arm, changed anything with the body or the torso. Actually, I did change one thing. I changed that from a spike to one of the red feathers to kind of keep the consistency down the back. Yeah, I basically just spent the last half hour on this arm, and really the only things that have changed is I flipped around the arm sections, like I said, but I kept the plates because I like the black on top and the transparent on the bottom. I also changed the spikes, and then most of that 20 minutes to half an hour was spent on the hand there, the two claws. I originally wanted to incorporate this flame piece, but then I realized it's really freaking huge and out of scale, and just looks dumb and bulky. So I was looking for other options. Originally, I used that same mechanism, which is what I was using to connect the flame originally. Originally, I used it to attach these, but I thought those didn't look as cool as the orange ones. And also, if I want, I can connect the third thing in the middle fairly easily with... Oh, where did I set it? Oh, there it is. With one of these ball pieces, just clip it, and then I have an axle to attach whatever I want there. But I couldn't find anything that I liked. I am going to quickly switch it out with these to show you what it looks like. And if you want me to switch it back to those, let me know. But personally, I like the orange ones the best. Those, plus a disadvantage is, as you can see, they turn and they're a lot less stable. And they come out a lot easier. And I know I had to kind of pull it, but they are more likely to fall out than these orange ones. So I think I'm going to switch it back to the orange ones. Finish his other arm. As you can see, it's fairly basic with just a bunch of plates and spikes. But then his hands where I had trouble. I originally considered using just a generic bionicle hand like this with the orange spike, kind of like, you know, a dagger held upside down. That's his main offensive hand, and that's kind of a defensive or a distraction type thing. But I wanted this to look very bestial. I don't think that's the word, bestial. I don't know, like a creature and not really human, and I thought the hand made it look too human, so I didn't like that. So then I changed it out for that piece, which looks a lot like, I don't know, kind of don't like it because it's really plain. So I might switch it for something else, either that or decorate that up to make it look less plain. But for now, I'm satisfied. And now, this is going to be the end of this building session, but not the end of this episode. Because with the power of, I guess power of editing? Nah, that wouldn't be correct. I don't know, with the power of magic video stuff, in a few seconds, I will skip ahead either, like, a day or a couple of days. And I will see you then approximately now. Legs, it's currently after school on the next day. Worked a bit before school, and now haven't really done much after school yet. Just sitting down for a building session. The legs are fairly plain, but I kind of like that because it contrasts with the complex rest of the body. Because if you have the full thing too complex, then it looks overdone, so I kind of like just the plain legs. But I still have to build a tail for him, because I think I want him to have a tail. Now completed the tail, and I really like that end there. I think that looks really cool. I think I'm pretty much done with the Fire Titan. The one complaint I have is I think his legs are a bit too short, so I might try to extend them later. I also think it might be cool to use some of the dark red pieces to make his legs longer, but I'm not sure, so I might come back to him and extend his legs later. I think the Fire Titan is done, and that's what he looks like. I think he's pretty cool. So next up, I think I'm going to work on the Water Titan. I don't know, either the water or the earth one. The air one is what I have the least clue on what I'm going to do, so it's either going to be water or earth. Before that, I need to switch out pieces, because obviously I'm not using the orange on the other ones, so yeah, I'm going to go start working on the second Titan now. How I'm starting out these Titans is I have the basic concept in my head, and then I'm grabbing a bunch of pieces that I think could work or could be useful, and then I just kind of find a piece that I know I'm going to use. Like, for example, I'm pretty sure I'm going to use that mask, and then I start working off of there. Either that or working off the body is a good place as well. But the thing is, I'm not sure which body to use. I might use this one, or I might use that one, then obviously, you know, build the connection for the legs and everything. So, I don't know. I'm going to just start putting things together and see what works out. One of the biggest challenges I'm facing with this is somehow having this hand be able to connect. Because as you may or may not know, I'm planning on having him hang off the side of the Earth Castle there throwing boulders. And originally I tried using a normal bionicle hand and bars, because there's a battlement up there that's a cylinder which the bar could connect into, but it wasn't strong enough so it would pull off. I've also tried just, like, balancing it, but I think the best way to do it is just this claw, and then you can kind of wedge it in there, and it kind of just balances nicely, so I think that's how I'm going to do it today, and I was tinkering around a bit yesterday as well as a bit today, and so far this is what I have, which I don't know, I don't really like the way it looks, especially the torso, because it just looks so plain. In fact, the whole thing just looks very plain. Plus, compared to the Fire Titan, it's really small. So far, the only decision that I've liked that I'm planning on keeping concrete is the way I've connected this head, because normally you just connect with one of those Bionicle head pieces, except I didn't like the way that looked. So, because it also was too obvious and an easy way out, so instead I connected it with this, and then it made his head kind of go forward, and I liked the way that looked. There's also the decision of using that to connect that I like, but then the rest, I'm not sure. I'm just going to keep tinkering around. Basically, I don't think I can just sit down and work on this for like an hour. It's just going to be on and off tinkering type stuff to figure it out. I've been doing some on and off building for the past few days, and now he's finished, and overall I think this looks pretty dope. I especially like the back and the ridge down the back, as well as all the texturing. I think that looks pretty cool. He is really wobbly right here at the hips, so it's hard to make him stand up properly, and oops, it just popped off his back plate. I'll fix that. He's wobbly at his hips, but that's not going to matter much, because the only thing that the wobble really does is, first of all, makes him more flexible, and second of all, makes it hard for him to stand, but he's not going to be standing, he's going to be hanging up the side of the castle. Also, including these little gold things. I decided I'd put those little gold Bionicle balls up there. He can be grabbing and throwing as well as the rocks. And I think that's where I'm going to call it for this episode, because I need to get this all cleaned up, because I've been postponing reviews for like a couple weeks while building these, and I have a lot of sets from Christmas that I need to review. So, that's all for this episode, and peace.